not his first rodeo, traveling all around the country. So please give a warm Bozeman, Montana welcome to Liam Nelson.
Hi. 7 feet, all right? Can we all shut the fuck up about it now? Cool. I know no one said anything, but all of your eyes were screaming at me. So, cool. Gotta get that out of the way. Thank you guys for having me. Like you said, I'm from Atlanta. It's an honor to be performing here in this obstacle course only for me. Great. I'm really glad that you guys added some obstacles. So we're going to play a little game. It's called, if I get close to this sprinkler, yell at me. All right? Because I will get lost in this. All right? Thank you guys. You're my safety team right now. Being as tall as I am kind of changes the way you live your life a little bit. Sometimes I feel like a mythical creature. Because whoever built everything didn't think I existed. I can't shit on planes. It's not in my wheelhouse, you know? Not on my resume. I get like here, when these hit the front, this hits the back, and that's the end of the day for me. You don't want to force it, or you get stuck, and that's embarrassing. Any couples in here? How long have you guys been together?
4 years.
4 years? Hell yeah, give it up for 4 years. That's a good amount of time. All right, we're real up close and personal today. I'm about to crowd surf. That's great. 4 years, that's killer. More personal question. I know you didn't volunteer for this one. Are you comfortable shitting with the door open in front of one another? That's a yes. It's a very calm, reserved yes. It's a very healthy relationship right there. That's great. That's a level of a relationship. You know, it takes everyone a different amount of time to get to that level. And I took things to that level with everyone else on the plane about 25 minutes into my last flight. Yeah. Had to do it with the door open. It was great. Just knees poking out in the aisle. Doing a white guy, like, how's it going? Yeah, go Hawks. Mm-hmm. I've always looked different. Anyone here want to guess how old I am? 12? Okay. 12, 42. Anyone like a real 29, 25? 31. All right, so we're getting like late 20s. I'm 22. Right? All right, so save that feeling you just felt and apply that to me as a child. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, why is that 7-year-old playing golf naked on his front lawn? He's 2 and his mom's weird, all right? Leave him alone. He's not a criminal. He's just potty trained. Yeah. So it's like there's two ends of the spectrum with like being as tall as I am. There's the upsides and there's the downsides. So that's one of the downsides, I'd say. Another downside would be trick-or-treating became a lot less fun a lot earlier for me. Because after I turned like 7 and hit like 5, 6, it became like a negotiation for the release of my candy. Yeah, it's great. It was like walking up to every door and be like, no, man, I swear to you, I'm 7. I have my birth certificate to prove it. And it didn't help that I talked like a salesman and I only wanted old man candy. It was like, yeah, a Heath bar, maybe some Raisinets would be great. Thank you. The opposite end of that spectrum is I found out a new perk of being tall. I live in Atlanta, like I mentioned. I was leaving a comedy show, walking through a little like kind of side area. And, you know, Atlanta is Atlanta, so a nice gentleman came up to me, shoved me up against a wall, because I'm not structurally sound. Then he shows me a knife and says, come up out of your pockets. I was like, cool, come up out of my pockets, sounds like a plan. Then another gentleman, mid-mugging, decides to walk over. He sees me up against the wall, he saw me at the show or something, and decides to take that moment to ask me how tall I am. So the mugger turns around, sees that this man definitely has much nicer pockets of which to come up out of, and then I just kind of tickle it, you know? Just kind of hot potato that mugging to some other poor fucking guy. One of the perks of being tall, you can just never get mugged if you just have someone else who kind of wants to know how tall you are. So, for all of your information, if you come up after the show and you ask me how tall I am, I will have you mugged. It's a warning. The reason I am as tall as I am, I have a thing called Marfan syndrome, which is a genetic connective tissue disorder. Basically makes me like a non-union building project. They stamped on the materials, but I got a lot of character, you know? I'm built like an off-brand AirPod. I look pretty cool, but don't shake me. I'm loose inside. Great. I work for a nonprofit that advocates and creates community for people with my same disorder. It's called the Marfan Foundation. Yeah, you guys know that. It's a nonprofit. We don't profit. Good, I guess. We every year they send us out to go fundraise and raise awareness for the disorder in this thing that they call Marfan Awareness Month, which is in February. You know, the month that we all know is Marfan Awareness Month. So glad that one was just free. You know, nothing else going on then. I know it's not intentional, but it feels kind of like bullying when they send a bunch of disabled white kids out to fundraise in the middle of Black History Month. Like, not very nice. It's like I gotta be on my Facebook timeline like, oh yes, racial injustice, very important. But also, my back hurts pretty bad. Excuse me, white man aching over here. I need some money. Stat, you know? Not a great look. Growing up with Marfan syndrome, things can kind of feel unfair sometimes. Things felt particularly unfair 3 months after my 18th birthday when I found out that I could have had a Make-A-Wish. No one was going to tell me that one? Like, come on. The cutoff is very strict at 18. They don't want Weirder Al on the pamphlet. Not what they want. So yeah, I didn't get it, unfortunately. I guess that's kind of on me for assuming. I thought those were just for kids who were dying. But apparently, me continuing to live in my body, almost just as bad. Wish I had gotten a letter or something, you know? Like, oh, you can get a gift for being all fucked up. It'd be good to know. Hand him out at the hospital. Like, this one looks a little... Just give him a letter. Yeah, it's, you know, not getting a Make-A-Wish, it's not the most fun thing in the world, but the key word there is almost, because I wouldn't have gotten, like, a full-strength Make-A-Wish. I would have gotten what I like to call a Choose-A-Wish, which is the generic brand of Make-A-Wish that they offer to non-terminal patients, where basically they're like, you can either go to Disney World or meet any C-list celebrity on our payroll. So if you're a 9-year-old with a heart condition who wants to ride Thunder Mountain or meet Tony Shalhoub, it's your lucky day. Show of hands, who knows who the fuck that is? We got one hand in the back. Imagine a room full of terminal 9-year-olds. So you think they watch Monk? Probably not. Not really Make-A-Wish material. The whole Disney World offering is so strange to me. So yeah, whose idea was that? Where they're like, let's take these medically fragile children to the place where germs were invented, and then put them on something called the Tower of Terror. Because like roller coasters are something we as a society have built to pretend to fall down and in order to feel alive. These kids have OJ with the Grim Reaper every morning. You know, they don't need that. Stop trying to put them on rides. Just give them a pack of cigarettes, leave them alone. Not really for them. They feel it's more for the institution itself. They're like, oh, they look so cute on the pamphlets. Yeah, but they're internally bleeding the whole time. Just let them sit down. The whole different levels of Make-A-Wish thing has also been causing me some problems lately, because I work at a camp for kids with Marfan syndrome, and half of the kids, or most of the kids, have my like Choose-A-Wish level of Marfan syndrome, but we have a few kids who have this thing called neonatal Marfan syndrome, which is a much more severe version of the same disorder. A lot of times they're in wheelchairs, they're blind, they don't tend to make it past like 35-ish. And so we had a couple kids who got the full strength Make-A-Wish at the camp. We had this one kid named Tommy who got a Make-A-Wish, and since then has decided to use that to bully the Choose-A-Wish kids about not getting as cool of a Make-A-Wish. It's a sight to behold. He comes in there all high and mighty, well, low and frail. You kind of got to push him in. He doesn't really come in. But he's confident and he's mean, so you don't even know. You can't even, I forget that he's in a wheelchair. He's such an asshole. Yeah, so he'll like roll up on the toe of some kid and be like, "What'd you get as your Make-A-Wish?" And they'll be like, "Oh, Disney World." And he'll be like, "That's lame. Your life's gonna suck because you didn't get a good once-in-a-lifetime experience." All right, man. Lifetimes. That's what we're talking about? Oh boy. All right. Last houses, bud. Huh? You may not making it past like 35? We're talking about life. What is that to you? You know? Maybe we don't. I didn't say that to him, but he needs to know that he can't just be talking about lifetimes with people because someone's going to ruin him one day. Yeah, I feel like since, he rubs it in everyone's faces, you guys should know what he got as his Make-A-Wish. He got to ride in a helicopter with Tom Cruise. Right? Isn't that a cool one? What was that?
I'd rub it in with the other
I would too. Allegedly. Hear me out, all right? Let's remember. He's blind and has never stood on the ground, So how would he know? Is my only question. We're starting to get, people always pull back on that, but you're telling me there's never been a conversation at Make-A-Wish. They're like, "Oh, we're a little low on funds fourth quarter. We got another kid who asked for a helicopter ride with Tom Cruise. Can we not just toss him in a minivan, turn the AC all the way up, play him Top Gun through some headphones, Will he know the difference? Probably not. Just nobody tell him, If you're going to rub it in people's faces, just have a little bit more evidence, is all I'm saying. He's got hearsay at best. Make-A-Wishes have gotten a lot cooler since I was a kid. They all used to just be different formats of John Cena. Yeah, now it's like, oh, Tom Cruise in a helicopter. I guess it makes sense they didn't do the blind kid with John Cena, because his whole thing is that you can't see me, and that feels kind of insensitive, Like, yeah, John, I can't see anything, all right? Stop rubbing it in my face. Are you rubbing it in my face? I can't tell, I do a lot of weird shit for money. I feel like that's implied by where I'm currently standing. Anyone want to take a quick guess? I'll take one.
Work.
Sex work? Thank you. My body's worth money to someone, I guess. I have the most feet, if you like feet. I just square footage wise, I got so much of it. DoorDash, no DoorDash. My favorite weird thing I do for money is I'm a professional Chewbacca sometimes. See, it's always like, oh yeah, Everyone go, wow, really? I don't want support. I just want surprise. A little bit of that doesn't seem like his only option, Being Chewbacca is fun. I go to parties, I put on a costume, and I Chewbacca there. A lot of frat parties, which is interesting because, you can't break character, and everyone at a frat party is pretending to be someone they're not, They're all pretending to be people who like beer, or people who like beer, and I'm pretending to be a 7-foot space monster. So, we all have our own roles that we play. But when Chet comes up and he's like, "Dude, we should get Chewbacca to do a fucking keg stand." And I'm just over there like, what am I supposed to say? I can't be like, "Nah, dude, beer makes me gassy. I'm in an airtight fursuit for 3 hours." Don't really feel like becoming a walking Dutch oven. Thanks, though. But he doesn't really get that from this gesture. So then I'm just doing a keg stand. Because frat boys don't really understand the word no in English. Why would they get it in Wookiee? Alright, well, thank you guys so much. You guys have been so fun.